we not assume that there is a way a child has to eat. Because I don't assume that I have to eat anyway. You couldn't tell me how I have to eat, how I have to drink. I should need to drink no water, but I'll like coffee. Warm water, so I drink coffee, but it's not healthy. So even for a child, we couldn't say you have to eat healthy, very on the table, like we wanted. But we have to look for the child, what can we expect from the child? And say, okay, for this condition we can expect that, under that condition we can't expect that. And then find, okay, we work to the expected level. We'll not say you have to eat on the table, with fork and knife, and you have to eat the whole plate. A 12 months old wouldn't sit on the table. For me, it's not me who treat a child. I never treated a child. Never. I've never done a treatment. It's always the we who have done the treatment. And whatever I've done, home-based, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, counseling, it is always a team. There's the nurse, there is the medical doctor, there's the speech and language doctor, the occupational therapist, all the guys, and we have worked together because they all make a great job. It's not just like, well, now Markus coming and I make everything different and better. It's stupid. It don't work like that. It's a team who's doing it. And there's a family who's doing this because it's not much use when I can show them, I can feed the child, I feed your child, and then it eats. So what's this useful? And if I had a family right here in Washington, my family don't want to live in Washington. They want to live at home. So I can't live with the family and feed the child for the next 20 years. It wouldn't work like this. And otherwise I could just treat just one child. It would be quite expensive. So don't work like this. So the family we have to work together as a network. And yeah, is there a shared agreement about the treatment goals from all the team members? And sometimes it's not. You can't agree all the time with 20 people. But you have to discuss it in turn to say, okay, we said think that is possible, and we have to discuss it with the families. Like, what do you want to? What do we think what's possible? How can we make a shared goal so that we can maybe be supportive and trusting for each other? The therapists for each other, we for the children, the family, we for the family for us. It's a win-win game. And at the end of the day, we pull all together and, well, we make it work. So, when I tell you have to terminate the feeding tube, how does it work? Structured part, it's not everything's case. See at the beginning, the child is tube fed with 1,000 milliliters, whatever, hypothetically, nutrition, food, whatever. And we reduce it every single day a bit. Well, here in this case 7 days, 2.5. But like you see, there's in a way a gap at the end of the 7th day. That's not by accident, that's by plan. Because we don't think that the child will, when we here take 100 milliliters away, eat 100 milliliters more, because the child don't know that we changed something. It will take a while. Here, nothing happens. Really nothing. The child is not even be uncomfortable. At this point it becomes more uncomfortable because, well, there is this 4 hours gap. And here, most children get like nervous, like, oh, come on. It's 12 p.m., a.m. Could be great if we hungry. And then you see, okay, it's coming, great, start work, and you can work at this time. That's so great, you can find out what the child is interested in. And it's not eating, no, never will eat. And everybody will eat in spite of me. But it's just, oh, that's so interesting. Oh, that's good. That's great. And then don't want to eat, you just want to look or to smell for it. But you say, okay, it's more salty one, it's more sweet one, it's more sour one. What's interested? what do you dislike, want to touch, and where would you start? So we can use the space. It's quite great. It's quite easy. It's not complicated. You don't need a PhD for that. Then we start after introduction with something called intensive treatment. That is something that is inpatient in the hospital, and home-based the same. About inpatient and home-based, inpatient means in Germany the parents stay in the hospital for 4 weeks. It's a different system, okay? There's it's more possible. Home-based means it's all in the house of the parents, in spite of the medical evaluations. Everything else is in the house of the child because it is a home environment of the child. It makes sense for 2 reasons. So the first reason is there's a low infection rate. I don't know what house is in your hospital, but it's November. A good time for tube weaning because you can get everything in spite of eating because you get 1 ear infection. After the ear infection, you get the lung infection. After the lung infection, you get rotavirus. It's November. So lower infection rate, especially for children with higher medical risk to get an infection. So it means all the critical ill children are much better home-based than inpatient because, well, if the child dependent on oxygen, we start to tube wean by now in your unit. Just think about it. In the hospital, what will we get? If we start to eat, or will it be get more oxygen after a week? So that's the reason why I take critical or more or less all home-based. What we do in inpatient is 2 to 4 hours. Outpatient could be much more at home-based. That means it depends on the child and on the process. It could be a 2 hours day when everything is fine. When everything is not fine because the child is not eating, it could be easily an 8 hours day, maybe longer. And I'm in the night standby. For example, child is freaking out at night, so hungry, it's not eating, parents have questions. Well, I go to the family. You can say, well, I'm tired. Yeah, parents are too. The child is too tired. But if they are not sleeping the whole night, the next day wouldn't be a fun day. So I'm available over the whole day. That's coming later. And it's quite good to have a feeding therapist around to assist you with the oral motor skills because I'm just a psychologist, not Harry Potter. And I can't do the functional treatment. And you see then that often in the treatment, okay, there's something common. The child wants to shoot, but it can't. So how can we work it out? So that's Christmas if you have. For me. A play picnic. A play picnic is a short mess, a big mess. You have different variations of food. The children define the rules. They are allowed to do everything. Everything. They can just mash the food. They can just sit around and do nothing. They can feed the therapists. They can feed the other children. They can feed their parents. They can feed the other parents. They can take Markus and put him full of chocolate pie. This is all allowed in this special hour. It's not the whole day, not the whole life. It's just an hour a day. We want to change the routines where parents and therapists and adults and all the tall ones are setting the rules and say we make it this way, that way, better, and that's the way it is. And now it's child turn. So always think about what you're doing with the child. They can do it to you again. And this is what some children sometimes do. They feed you, they show you, like, this is how it feels for me. And then you can work it out. It's so great to have the chance to show the child, that is the way I see it. That's the way I see it. And you even see it in small children. We did play picnic from 3 months. And they crawl and they touch it with their hands. And we do it up to 6 years, because after 6 years, it become, well, it's a nice party. But after this, you need a new room. You should close the room and never go in again. don't make much sense. So this is for children, for small children, and it works very well. For the therapist, very important to join in. Never simulate it. So you're playing, you're a 5-year-old, you become a child, you're getting involved, you have to, in a way, to like it. So it's good that you more like to make a mess. When you're a very clean person, it's not your kind of treatment. Well, there's some kind of treatment I can't do. And, well, I can do this very well. My mother is a gardener, so I'm used to get uncle untidy. And this is a way to get a little bit more in contact about how to be with the children. And without the post, the children don't have to eat in the situation. You can just sit and observe. Just do nothing. And we'll join in later, next week, tomorrow. So no pressure, just like, you have to have fun with mashing the food. You have to make a mess. Enjoy it. Thank you for that. That's what we call, that is our philosophy at this part. Really watch, wait, and wonder, and be surprised. And well, there's a little bit, I want to show you a video. Did it? Works. No? So there's always this, will it work? Will it work? Yeah. So that is a home-based play people. You see a lot of kids around, a lot of parents around, and the children, they can do whatever they want. They can